Hey guys, Coach Keith Keppner here, and we're going to do a review on Kenny Weldon, one of his instructional videos. So let's get into it. Now, a couple things to note is that for those of you that don't know this, Kenny Weldon has boxed at an elite level nationally in the amateurs and also coached at an elite level in the pros, and also was a professional fighter as well. And he has a lot of great information that was put out over the decades, and people have uploaded them to the internet. And he's no longer with us, so may he rest in peace. And the point of this video is for educational purposes. There's going to be some things that perhaps I have some different perspectives on, little details and things like that. And so the goal of this, though, is for you to benefit as a viewer, because, like they say, two minds are better than one. So the great teachings that he has put out there, along with the teachings that were passed on down to me, and combining that together to an awesome boxing learning experience. So let's dive into it. With this video, it's going to be looking at his training on what he calls reactive punches. So let's check this out.
In tape one, we demonstrated the technique of throwing each particular punch. In this particular segment, we're going to teach how to defend each of those punches, and also we're going to demonstrate.
Very important. Many people learn how to throw punches, but they don't, and how to throw many punches in a boxing gym, but they oftentimes, or too often, don't learn how to defend all those punches, and also all the ways that you can defend efficiently all of those punches. So great point already, Mr. Kenny.
Something that I originated about 15 or 20 years ago called.
What did Kenny originate 15 or 20 years ago?
Reaction punches. Anytime you're watching boxing on TV nowadays, you'll be maybe watching a fight and you hear somebody holler in the corner, react.
Reaction punches, and I don't know, I haven't heard anyone yell in the corner, react, react, react. So let's see where he's going with this one.
React. Well, that used to be counter, counter, counter. Now it's called react. Counter punch.
I think it still is counter, counter, counter. What's your experience, though? Comment below.
Is basically making the guy miss and then hitting him. Reaction punches aren't necessarily making him miss. It's setting yourself up to hit him with a maximum amount of leverage when he does punch at you.
All right, so according to Kenny, and again, no disrespect here, and I hope I'm not playing some type of semantical game, but counter punches are making them miss and making them pay. Reactive punches are making them pay. Let's see.
So we incorporated this into our training program 10 to 15 years ago, and it's become very popular throughout the world now. So I'm going to show you some defensive maneuvers to get away from particular punches, and then I'm going to show you how to react to particular lead punches.
Cool, so let's see if we learned something new here.
All right, so Mike, first of all, get in your stance. All right, now, how do you defense a left jab? Let's get on this side so that I can throw the jab at you, and I want you to show how you defense it, okay? Okay, a defense for the left jab is pairing it with your right hand, and basically what he's doing, he's not sweeping it, he's actually bringing his hand out about an inch from his chin and opening it and catching it. Okay.
Man, great stuff. I don't see this taught often enough. This way is the way, in my opinion, my experience, to stop the jab. Default. You catch it. You don't swipe it. You don't brush it. You catch it on the palm, because if you get there too soon, that's okay. You still got something in the way. If you get there, if you brush a punch, right, or swipe it, as he says, too soon, you swipe across a little bit and you'll miss it. The timing is a lot harder than a catch. And you see the majority of your elite level pro fighters, the majority, not all, the majority, they're going to be more so catching a jab versus brushing it or swiping it. And it's one of those things that, like, parry can mean kind of brushing it or catching it. And to me, and in my experience and in my opinion, the catch is superior. Great stuff.
Like this, right there. That's how you block a left jab.
And you catch it on the palm. It's like that big thing I talked about. Hands open on defense, not closing the fist. Your hands open, catching the shot. Good stuff.
Right here. Okay? That's a block, okay? If I'm going to throw a straight right, you you're either going to block, if it's a straight right, you're either going to block it by knocking it in this way, or you're going to block it by pulling your left hand out. Like if I throw it wide, you're throwing.
Good solid block there for like a right hook style shot.
Here, if I throw it straight, you're blocking
now
it inside this way.
A little, so to my point on the catching the jab thing, why that's so good is because if you get there too soon and your timing's not perfect, you're not going to get hit by the jab. Now with this right hand, a very dangerous punch, I much prefer, in my opinion, again, just my opinion and what I was taught, and I've experimented with a lot of different things, but getting a block up is going to be a lot safer and, again, require less efficient timing than, like he's showing, swipe it down. If you mistime that thing, swipe it down too soon, then you get popped. Or let's say you saw that right hand coming and you thought it was going to be a straight, but it was actually a loop on it, and you brought this hand down to stop that. Versus if you had it up here, then you just need to move it to the side a little bit or what have you. And then at the end of the day, you can actually just catch both punches. All right, very effective technique that we work. All right, so first one's good. Second one, I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It can work. It absolutely can work. And you can swipe it down and jab over it and things like that. But as a foundational base, I'm iffy on it. It's not something that I coach, and I'd recommend you starting out with as a beginner. Hey guys, if you like this video so far, make sure you click like and subscribe and click that bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. I upload a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So basically you have a block for a left jab,
beautiful,
a block for a straight right, and a block for a looping right. Yeah. Now let's get on this side so they can see the right hand a little bit better.
I love that jab catch though.
What you're doing with it.
Great
okay?
block.
Here, okay, block it when it's straight, right here, okay? Now block the jab, right here. Right here. Now the idea is to block these punches without bringing your hand so far out away from your face that you're getting hit. Now that's how you parry a jab.
Beautiful gem right there, guys. In my opinion, and apparently in Mr. Kenny's opinion as well, you want to move all that as small as possible. Stay within that box. The moment you start reaching out as a foundational base, you're going to have trouble. And he's all about the foundation. I'm all about the foundation. I think personally any good coach is all about the foundation. Because if you don't maintain that foundation, it doesn't matter what facade you have on top of that, it's going to crumble.
How you parry a right hand. Okay, now all I want you to do is block these. I don't want you to react to them. I'm going to throw a wide right to your body, and what I want you to do is I just want you to squat and block. I don't want you to turn. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to block it. You understand? Okay, this is a wide right to his body. Okay, there, and turn around this way. And
now one thing really quickly about, just to talk on details.
I just want you to block it. You understand?
The squat
this is a wide right to his body.
You can just bring that elbow down a little bit and you'll be good. Okay, that's number one. Number two is if that shot is coming up, right, if it's kind of just a really sloppy uppercut, you're literally dropping yourself into that uppercut. So those are just some things to think about versus just bring the arm down just a little bit with the chin down or bring it up a little bit for the headshot and that's it. Again, the smallest movement, the better, right? The more you can make your movements efficient, in my opinion, the more successful you're going to be in general.
Okay, there, and turn around this way, and let's do a left hook to the body. How do you block it? Right there, right there.
See, right there, to me, that's the perfect example of
blocks. He's got a
blocking
on the left. Turn around this
body
way.
Shot
let's do a
completely
left hook to the
efficient.
body. How do you block it?
Right there. He didn't even.
There. Okay, so basically he's got these blocks. He's got a block on a left jab. He's got a block on a straight right. He's got a block on a looping right. He's got a block on a wide right to the body. He's got a block on a left to the body. Okay, so those are blocks. These are basically the way to.
And again, right there with the way he blocked that
a block on a wide right to the body.
He didn't
He's
drop
got a block
on that either.
on a left to the body. Okay, so those are blocks. These are basically the way to.
If anything, you could argue it's a resisting of the punch, right? So when someone throws that punch hard, it's going to knock you off balance a little bit if you don't slightly resist into it. That's actually a little side note. It's important because in order to effectively counter off the punches, you need to be able to not let the punch move you. Because one way that you can stop a counter is by throwing so hard that you're knocking someone off balance that doesn't have a good base and they're not able to resist those punches, all right? So actually kind of slightly leaning into a shot versus leaning away is actually a really important detail that I appreciate is being demonstrated here in order to counter effectively. Great stuff.
Individual punches, okay? Blocking a right uppercut is this way. He wants to take his, let's get over here on this side, Mike, so that they can see this. Face the audience a little bit. Blocking a right uppercut is basically just taking your right hand, put this down, taking your right hand and cupping it like this underneath your chin so that when he throws.
Beautiful stuff right there. Classic, great way to stop an uppercut. That's generally what I teach people. And also, let me tell you something too. If you're catching a jab and you have that hand in front, where that hand is approximately is still going to interfere with the uppercut if it's not too far out, which you don't want it far out. Now, a little test and a little detail it's important to remember is you all know why maybe you don't want to have the elbow out as you catch, all right? So you want to make sure it's up against your chest like how this guy has it, because if you reach out too far, then it gets through the slit and it's going to get you. And if you're not leaning forward, you'll be good, right? If you lean forward and your head's over your body or over your hand, then you'll still get hit by the uppercut. So you need a good foundational stance. But then the second thing is, like we all know, you'll get hit by a body shot if you're like this catching an uppercut, right? Maybe uppercut, left hook to the body. But also you're weaker, by the way, too, if you have your elbow flared out at all. The more you have your elbow in, the stronger you're going to be. Do a little experiment with whether it's a friend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, and have them try to push up on your arm like when you're like this or like this. That's the only change. And you'll let me know what you experience. I'm not going to try to tell you what you're going to experience. Let me know what you experience and comment below.
Close the right uppercut.
Beautiful,
you're
small
movement. You're going to be able to block
movement.
it right there. Okay? Same thing on a left
And what
uppercut.
I love about that, by the way, is that it allows you to do anything and everything.
It,
right?
Like this, underneath
so
your chin.
Right off of
so
that,
when
he could slide over with the right hand. He could do a left hook. He could jab, the most important punch in boxing, right? All these things are very important.
close the right uppercut.
Great stuff.
You're going to be able to block it right there. Okay? Same thing on a left uppercut. To block a left uppercut, it's just go ahead and drop it. It's this way.
Now, with this one, like fine, like totally fine. Like I've talked about in all the other videos of your boxing is an art. There's many ways to do things, and the best thing you can do is not get hit. The best thing. So I'm not going to say this is garbage or no good or anything else like that. One reason why, though, just methodology-wise, right, that I generally don't teach to catch with the lead hand is because in the philosophy that I largely coach and was coached on, you want to leave the lead hand as free as possible. Now, obviously, there's some punches we need our lead hand to stop, okay? But as much as you can, use the rear hand for catching and blocking because it's going to leave this free for the most important punch in boxing, which you all know what that is, right? And so that allows you to counter with everything because that suits you really well no matter what dimension of a fighter you are, right? If you're a shorter fighter and someone throws a lead uppercut on you, you're going to be shut down on what your counter is a little bit when he got reach on you because he's shooting that shot. That lead uppercut is the longest uppercut you can throw. And if you're going to try to counter it, you better hope your guy is still there because if he's not there, he won't, you can't get him. But if you catch it with the rear hand, one, it makes the job easier, but two, it allows you to shoot that jab if there's any range. And the jab is an excellent counter. Short fighters like Dwight Mamakwai and many others have shown that. All right. And then the last point, though, I have on this one is that think about what comes after a left uppercut most of the time. What would you throw after a left uppercut? Well, most of the time, it's going to be a really great right hand. Right now in this position right now, I think if the timing was off, you would get creamed by that right hand, or you could, right? So we're just increasing the likelihood of that happening. So I would love for you to minimize it. One great way you could minimize it is by just using that backhand to catch because then that lead hand is there just in case that right hand does come. All right, food for thought.
All right, so now you'll notice that on all these blocks, the hands barely move to the front of the face. They're not reaching this way, and they're not pulling out this way, and they're not dropping. They're just barely reaching.
Great points. Great points. You want it all just right here. Something comes down for the body, use the elbows. Something comes up top, use the hands, and don't reach out. There's really no need for it. There's some very specific situations, very specific, that you don't need to worry about very much. You want to build your foundation because, again, foundation is key.
To the front of the face.
You're so right.
And it's real important that you don't do that because that's what the other guy does. He feints you in position by doing it. He may act like he's going to hit you and you reach out to block and he catches you. But if you always keep this right thumb on your chin as a reminder, and if you always keep this left hand eye level so that you can see it right here, you ain't going to get drawn out like that. Okay, so that is how to block these individual punches. Now I'm going to show you how to react to them. All right, back about 30 years ago, I used to watch Bill Gore take a pair of boxing gloves and turn them around backwards and use them to let the boxer hit the back of him, hit his hand so that he could study the boxer's technique. Well, that's a long time ago, and since then, over in Mexico, they've come up with the idea of hand pads.
I don't know if the idea of hand pads came up from Mexico. I think I've seen pictures and whatnot of, because I don't know what time frame we're talking about, right? Are we talking about 40s, 50s? But I feel like I've also seen them in the States before that. I don't know. It's a good thing for maybe one of you guys that are really into researching to look up, see if you can find an answer on, and comment below. Let me know.
He started building pads that you could put on your hands so that the boxers could hit those. But one thing that always stuck in my mind back watching Bill Gore do these things with Manny Gonzalez and Rip Randall and people like that was the fact that it was the best way to study technique devised by any trainer in the world.
Great point on that, because shadow boxing, sparring, of course, as training modalities and as ability to see the technique in action, right? Very important stuff. But a good coach working hand mitts or hand pads or whatever, or focus mitts properly allows you a front row seat in the line of fire to really evaluate what's going on with your boxer and to see things sometimes that you can't see from the side. And to do it in a way that you can really, as a coach, identify stuff. So it's not like you sparring your guy or whatever. You're still in this coach role where it's not competitive between you and your guy, because I recommend you don't spar your guy, because that adds a whole nother dynamic that you don't want as a coach. Because ideally you want your guy to be better than you are. So anyway, yeah, great point. It allows you to work on so many things. I'll get into it a little bit later, but great point by Mr. Weldon again.
So what I'd done back about 15 years ago when I started really working seriously with boxers is I devised what we call reaction punches. Now, let me explain to you what these are as opposed to counter punching.
All right, so let's hear what reaction punches are as opposed to counter punching.
Okay, a counter punch would be this right here. A counter punch would be, say I throw a left hook at Mike, and Mike rocks back and it misses, and he throws a right hand and hits me.
Good counter.
A counter punch would be for me to throw a right uppercut and for him to take his right foot out and then hit me with a left hook. Here, that's a counter punch. That's countering a punch.
Make him miss, make him pay.
For me to throw a left jab and for him to slip it and then throw a wide right to my body, that's a counter punch. Well,
I wonder if he thinks that, or in his definition, not he thinks, because he's a sharp guy, but in the ways he's using his words, that a counter punch is ensuring a punch doesn't touch you, any part of your body, including your arms or hands, and then throwing a punch, because that is a type of counter, but that's not all the counters.
I was watching a bunch of little kids in the gym, and I come up with an idea that in order to make them work harder at getting in position to punch.
You always want to be in position to punch. Absolutely, Kenny. Great stuff.
I thought of a way that they could do this by reacting to particular punches. Now, what I mean by this is like starting with let's say starting with a left jab. Mike, get on this side over here. Starting with a left jab. Instead of standing here and slipping that left jab, throw the jab, and throwing a wide right to the body, which is a counter punch, what I'm going to do is when he starts his left jab, I'm going to turn my right heel out and be in a position to react off of his jab.
So turning the right heel out, which looks like it's allowing his shoulder to come a little bit more forward, or at least that's what he's setting up for. Bring his right hand closer, probably in anticipation of countering with a right hand, or it could be setting you up for a powerful lead hand.
Now, how I'm going to react is this right here, right there. The minute he initiates that, I'm turning my heel out and I'm going to block this, and then I'm going to throw my right hand. I'm just
slide over with the right hand. Nice.
Following through. I'm turning it out with my heel, and then I'm pushing. That's reacting to his left jab. When he throws a straight right hand at me, I'm going to react in this fashion. I'm going, instead of slipping and throwing a hook to the body, which
is a good counter,
which is a counter punch, I'm going to take that away from him and step here and jab him. Now,
so you made him miss, you made him pay. That's a counter punch, Kenny.
Now what that is, that's taking away the jab. Now throw the jab first, Mike. That's reacting off of a jab, and this is reacting off of a right hand. Now what that does, it not only makes him miss, it puts me in a position to punch, whereas the other way, I'm not in a position to punch a lot of times.
The other way, he's not in a position to punch a lot of times. See, and again, this is where he's a great coach. I'm not trying to down on him, but we all fall. Me too. We all do fall into these like all or nothing type mentalities sometimes.
I'm going, instead of slipping.
He's not in position to punch right now. He's in position to punch right now. The same thing as with the blocking or brushing really and shooting, or parrying and shooting.
And throwing a hook to the body, which is jab first, Mike. That's reacting off of a jab, and this is reacting off of a right hand. Now, what that does, it not only makes him miss, it puts me in a position to punch, whereas the other way, I'm not in a position to punch a lot of times. I'm just making him miss and trying to counter the best I can, but this way, I can't miss. Now, especially on wide punches. For instance, if he threw a wide right to my body, now watch my heels down here. Well, let me get on this side, Mike, so that they can watch my heels. If he throws a wide right to my body, instead of jumping back or doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my right heel out, which puts my weight on my left foot, and keep my elbow down like this right here. I'm going to go just like this, right here. Now, when he throws a wide right to my body,
now right where he is, that's blocking a punch and setting yourself up for a specific counter, right? If he stays sided up, he would have been wanting to counter with the rear hand, and if we want to counter with our lead hand, we set ourselves up like this to counter with the lead hand.
I'm going to catch him. Now, see, if I throw from here, I can't miss him. There's nothing to obstruct anything, the path of this punch. And he's got all of his weight on his left foot, and I got all the weight on my left foot. So when I hit him with the left hook now, I'm going to hit him with a maximum amount of leverage with him falling in. Here. Okay, so throw the wide right to my body.
So right after that, or right off of that, you see how that back foot's left behind with the young man? So with that back foot left behind as it is, and the weight on the lead leg, he could do that right hook for the body, pull right back out, and you would miss your left hook there, Mr. Kenny. So again, saying there's no way you can miss, it's not accurate. Okay, great counter. I argue that oftentimes countering somebody on the same side, that they're hitting you on. So if they do a right hook, you do a left hook inside of it, right? Or vice versa. They shoot a left hook, you shoot a right inside of that. Those are excellent counters because they're very hard to stop for obvious reasons, right? If maybe Kenny tried to come back with a right hand off of this, he could theoretically use his left hand to stop the shot, right? So a lot of truth to this, but again, it's not all or nothing. And we're just setting up different types of counters. These aren't, they're reacting, because reacting is a response to something that somebody does, which is also what a counterpunch is. Hey guys, if you haven't already, go to the channel page and you see that join button on the right side. Click that join button and look at level 2. That will allow you to send me some sparring or training footage, and I'll give you some tips and evaluation to help you get your training in boxing to the next level. So go ahead, check it out. It's a great way to support the channel.
Here, boom.
Great counter.
All right, throw a left hook to my body. Now watch what I do. I turn this left heel out. Turn.
No need to turn that left heel. There's no need. He's basically sided up. If he wanted to side up a little bit more, he just turns his body just a touch. That heel is not locking him to the floor. He's not trying to open the hip to generate some type of force or power. So there's no need for the pivot on the lead foot.
See here? Now see where I take my head to my right foot? My weight is on my right.
Great position though, by the way. And this is something that I talk a lot about with countering punches is, again, like I said, like someone shoots a left hook, you come back with that right hand. It's a very clean opening to get, but also if you stay sided up, because oftentimes we'll kind of roll with punches like this and someone will do a left hook and you do this with it, and then it takes away the power that you would have on your right hand, versus if you stay sided up with it and have the hand in the right place, right, then you can shoot that shot and have a lot of force with it. Also as well, if you maintain this position that he has right now, guess what? If you didn't counter and he tried to come back with what would be a probable punch after that, probably a right hand shot of some style, probably up top. He has that shoulder in the way. He's sided up. He's not very vulnerable. Versus if you kind of always roll and open up with shots, you do tend to be more vulnerable. So I'm a big proponent of maintaining your stance as much as possible and only maneuvering out of your basic foundational stance to set up a certain counter and things of that nature.
Now see, I can't miss him. All right?
You could, but it's a good shot though. But anything can happen.
Wide right, here, boom. Throw the wide left, here.
What I love too is that
turn my heel
Kenny
out.
just
see, I can't miss him.
Demonstrated not turning. Watch the lead foot. Watch his left foot.
Boom. Throw the wide left.
He didn't have to turn it. So he did.
Same thing up top. If he throws a left hook to my head, I'm turning here. See where my weight goes? Now watch here. Same thing on top up here. I just turn toward the punch and get my left hand up and set up everything here and throw here. So what we've got now is we got a left jab right here, boom, a straight right here, a wide right to my body here, and a wide left to my body, or vice versa. I'm sorry.
No worries.
But basically what that is, that's the reaction punches. You got a reaction punch.
Counter punches.
The jab, the right hand, the wide right to the body, and the wide left to the body.
Good stuff.
Also, you have reaction punches to uppercuts. If I throw a right uppercut at him, what he's going to do is turn his right heel out and
Not much need to turn that right heel out.
turn this downward this way. Just block it. All right. Now you note, in order to throw a right uppercut at him, it exposes the left side of my head.
It's a lot of extra work to catch the uppercut and set yourself up for a left hook. A very slight opening of the torso, very slight, not this much hip opening, very slight, and that's gonna allow you to lead with the hook and also still catch the uppercut while minimizing how open you are.
React. Okay, now react on this one. All right, now do it on the other side. Turn this left heel out. Then the right. Okay, this way and this way.
And see that amount of turn. Now think about what it does as far as timing and the pivot on the lead leg and things like that. That amount of time is eons in boxing, all right? And we want our counters to be as close as possible to their punch. I argue if you can counter somebody the same exact time they punch, that's the hardest counter to stop. Second to that, though, is shooting punches inside, half timing, right? So if someone's boom, 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 bat, you put the shot right in between. So with this, someone shoots a left uppercut, what are they coming back with? They're going to probably come back with the right hand. And if you take too long to deliver your right hand, you're just going to be trading right hands. Yes, you could bring your head offline with your right hand, but there's going to be some troubles. Versus if you can not turn so much, you're already sided up in your stance to just shoot a right hand that's powerful. Just keep your stance and catch it, whatever. Or just do exactly what he's talking about. Put the hand there, catch a boom. That's it.
So what he's doing is instead of trying to just counter,
we don't have to set
he's
so
putting
much
himself
up
in a
for
position
power.
to hit
You can be set
with
up
the
for
maximum
power,
amount of leverage without getting hit.
Over-rotate.
So I'm going to go through the whole thing here one more time.
That's something, by the way, with people with slipping too. They'll slip like to the lead side to set up a left hook shot, and they'll over-rotate their body like they're actually throwing a right hand, that amount. And I argue, man, if you're going to rotate that much, just go ahead and throw a right hand, number one. But number two is you don't need to twist that much to set yourself up for that big, powerful shot, right? You don't have to cock it so much, and it's going to cost you time, and you're probably not going to get the shot, and you could, I argue, make it just as powerful.
Him in a way that the audience can see him here. Okay, Mike, throw the left jab and watch what I do. Here, boom. Throw the straight right and watch what I do. Here, okay. I'm going to throw a wide right to your body.
Same stuff.
All right, so that just about takes out all the punches that a guy wants to throw. So now this means if I come out and I'm fighting a guy and I get in my stance and I throw a left jab and he hits me with a right hand over the top, we call that taking it away, So take
good concept, yep. Take those punches away from him.
This away, Mike. Boom, okay. Now he takes that away.
I want to throw it.
I'm going to think twice before I throw that jab because I'm thinking he's going to hit me with the right hand. I throw a wide right to him here, and he hits me. That's taking it away. I may not want to do that again. I throw a left here, and he hits me with the right hand, or right up here, and he hits me with the left hand, or left here, and he hits me, or right uppercut, and he hits me, or left uppercut, and he hits me. Pretty soon, I'm not going to have confidence in anything I'm throwing at him. So the idea is to play takeaway.
And that's where throwing single shots is detrimental, because if you're putting your punches together, then all of this is a lot harder to do. It's a lot easier to do if someone's doing single shots, and if they are putting shots together, that's where the timing thing that I'm talking about comes into play a little bit more. But I mean, he's super spot on with the single shots, definitely, and just the concepts. I agree. With
reaction punches. Now I know a lot of you guys out there watching TV and watching the fights on TV, you hear somebody over in the corner hollering react, react, react. That's where that came from. That came from our.
I don't know if you can find that, find it, but I don't remember watching any fights from the 70s or 80s or anything like that, and someone yelling react, react, react. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Program here. It came from learning reaction punches from the time our kids have been this big on up. And I'm going to tell you something. If you know how to react and you stay in a position to react, you're going to win a lot of fights. Let me tell you.
Very true. So, if you stay in a position to react, which means counter, but also just react to anything they do, you're going to win a lot of freaking fights, man. Great, absolute foundational concepts by Mr. Kenny Weldon.
So now we've done it with him reacting with one punch. Now we're going to do it with him reacting with 4 punches on reacting on one punch and throwing 4 punches. Okay, Mike? Let's start first with your right. I'm going to go to your right side.
So now counter back with combinations.
Is that what you have there is you put it in their mind, they don't want to punch at you, because if they do, they're going to get hit.
So they're not just going to get hit once, they're going to hit 3-4 times. Great stuff.
I hope you learned something from this. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the hand pads, and I'm going to let him really hit them, because what we're doing here, we're playing. This is playing, but I'm going to show you how to do it the real way, okay? So, Mike, what I want you to do first is get in your stance, get in your rhythm, and let's see your left jab. Good.
Now see here real quick. What is Mr. Kenny Weldon, who great coach. You cannot argue that, he's a very high level coach. Where is he holding for the jab? He's holding on the right mitt for the jab. But man, Coach Keith, that doesn't make sense, man. We always do left, right, left, right, left, right. Well, the way I was taught too, and the way that I coach, and it makes sense to me, is that you're punching one person, right? You want to have that one and that two right here on the same mitt, and also that allows you as the coach to provide them with other shots to deal with defensively, right? If somebody jabs, you need to be ready for their jab. I argue you need to be ready to catch that jab, catch their jab as you jab. You can do that if you're holding for the jab with the right mitt. You can't do that if you're doing for the left mitt. You could do a left hook as they jab. Have them literally defending punches as they are jabbing, doing the most important punch and staying safe. So very important concept. You want to get that one and that two in the same place. Accuracy as a fighter is very important. And in my opinion, this is what this trains. Now, yes, you could kind of just put it all here in the middle. I've seen guys do that and do that well. But again, the first point, though, it limits what I can do with you when you're punching.
Good, good, good. All right. I want to see a 1, 2, 3.
Nice stuff.
All right, 4. All right, now I'm going to throw a wide right to his body. I want him to react with 1, 2.
Now, by the way, too,
Three.
just note on the holding the mitts thing. And Kenny does a pretty darn good job of it.
Jab.
But one little nuance is like, see how he kind of comes out a little bit with that right mitt. So he's here with the left mitt, comes out a little bit with the right mitt. And that's good. You can do it either way. Have the guy come to you or meet it out a little bit. But the thing is, you're making a head with the mitts. That's what you want to design. Because that's what we're trying to get good at. We're not trying to get good at hitting mitts. We're trying to get good at hitting people. And you're trying to get good at hitting head. So the head's here. You got the front of the head, the side of the head. So if you're holding mitts like this all the time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, that's no good because they're getting used to choking that 3 and not throwing it where it's going to be. So you want to have it boom, boom, bam. See that? And you get this hand out of the way. Bring it back, drop it down, whatever. Boom, boom, bop. Boom, boom, bop. 1, 2, 3, 2. It's all right here. 1, 2, 3, 2. All right there. And that's an important thing. I see a lot of people mess up, or they'll have the left low, and it's like, is that left hook for the body? No, it's the left hook up top. Well, let's all have the same height, right? So there's just little nuances to think about for mid holding. You have people hold mitts for you. If you do some coaching, things to keep in mind and to watch out for. And we all fall into things. I know I've watched videos of me holding mitts, and I'll like get a little lazy and come out and do little things. So we got to constantly be aware of this stuff because bad habits occur automatically. Good habits take a little bit of focus and a little bit of thought.
Good, good. All right. I want to see a 1, 2, 3. All right, 4. All right, now I'm going to throw a wide right to his body. I want him to react with 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All right. I'm going to throw a right uppercut, and I want you to react with 1. Left uppercut, react with 1.
Now, I would again argue, because I actually have this film sped up a little bit, so it just doesn't take as long, that, again, that timing, you hear that timing? Boom, bop, boom, bop. It should be boom. Have that, I recommend, my opinion as a coach, I want someone to be countering that shot right as that shot comes. So it's, let's say we're doing the same exact drill that Mr. Kenny's doing right here. I do the right uppercut, he comes back with the hook. I want to be boom, 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 like that. And that's where we're going to catch somebody cold. While that hand is still out there, they're not able to roll under the punch. They're not even coming back with their left hook yet. And you caught them right inside of that. And then you cleaned it up with a few more shots like he's talking about. You're in business. You're looking good.
Okay. And now I'm going to go through all these real quick.
Let's go on to something else.
Is if you're going to throw punches at somebody that is fundamentally sound, you're going to get hit.
If you have great foundations and someone throws punches at you, you should be able to hit them off of it. So if you're going to get someone that is foundationally sound, they should be able to make you pay for most of the punches you're throwing.
If you don't get hit, it's because the other guy don't know what he's doing.
Or you're having a lot of great answers, right? Because we can always have the answer for the answer.
All right, one of the most important things to know when you're short like Mike is that a guy's going to be throwing a lot of uppercuts at you and how to react off of them. And the main thing in reacting, say for instance off of an uppercut, is that when you react, you don't raise up when you throw the punch. You want to stay down low with it so that the other guy is eye level with you so that you're definitely going to hit him with it, okay? A right uppercut.
As a short guy, it's easy to raise up all the time. I recommend practicing throwing your punches above you, but not rising up to do it. You're going to lose some of your power. You're also going to lose some of your advantage of being a smaller target and being under them.
Look, Mike. All right, now you get 4 of them. Techniques and why you shouldn't be throwing straight jabs and straight rights to somebody's body that knows what to do with them.
You shouldn't throw straight jabs and straight rights to people's body? Okay, let's hear you out, Kenny.
Hey, we call this pendulum blocking. I came up with that name because I couldn't think of anything else.
You might have come up with that name. I don't know where it originated from, but I've heard it spoken about in a negative context.
It's not a counter punch because it's not basically made to make you miss and then counter. This is a contact thing, so we're calling it reaction punches too, but I'm calling it pendulum blocking. So basically what it is if somebody throws a straight jab at your body, don't do anything, Mike, but if I throw a straight jab at his body, which you see boxers do a lot, they'll be moving around out here and they're reaching in and throw that straight jab to the guy's body.
It's a good move to do. A lot of people say, as you guys probably know, Mayweather's hardest punch, some of his opponents said, was the jab to the body. Take away the oxygen from him.
That is an extremely dangerous punch if he knows how to pendulum block and react off of it.
Now it can be dangerous if you maybe lean in too much, if you do it too much, if you do it from maybe too close, the right hand can come over. But again, these are not all or nothing things. But according to Kenny, the pendulum block is what makes it dangerous. Let's hear him out.
What I want you to do, Mike, is I want you to take, when I throw that jab, as you see me start that jab toward you, I want you to take your right heel and turn it out and your chin behind your shoulder, just like this. This is what I want. This is the movement I want. Just like throwing a right hand, only you're turning it downward and getting your elbow up, right here, right here. Keep that left hand up, right here. All right, now I want you to do that right there. Okay, here comes the jab. Right there. Notice that his heel's turning out. Right there. Notice that his elbow is in this position. It's like a pendulum, just like this. Go.
So right now, Kenny's kind of drifting out of what he's talked about earlier, where he said that you want to just keep it all here, and if you're reaching out, you're going to have trouble.
They're not reaching this way, and they're not pulling out this way, and they're not dropping. They're just barely reaching.
Right? And so again, don't be wrong. You do see some people do this move. Now, the one context that people do this move in that I see personally is they don't stay put. They do that as they step out a little bit, because then any other follow-up after that, they're not there for. And that's a very important caveat, because I used to have the mistake as a coach of people would be doing stuff like this and other craziness. And sorry, I said it was craziness, but just other odd things like this. And I'll tell them, hey, you're going to get killed. But then inevitably they wouldn't get killed. And I'd be like, well, man, you proved me wrong. But the reason that they weren't getting killed by it or weren't as vulnerable by it is obviously boxing is not all or nothing, but also they're doing this stuff as they're also making some space. They're ready for the step out if this move backfires. All right, so that's important, very important concept. You can slap down punches. You can do a lot of really wild things like a pendulum block. And if you're ready to pull out, step out of anything that they feint you on and try to get you with, you can get away with it. And also, if you don't do it all the time, you can get away with it too. And one of the advantages I just want to touch on earlier of the brushing or swiping, as he calls it, is that it can throw people off balance. It can tire their arms out. So there are definitely some advantages to it. With this one, man, it's a very, very, very stylized move that I'm not going to say you don't see people do it, but you have to evaluate cost and reward. And again, Kenny's all about the foundation. I'm all about the foundation. To me, this isn't that foundational. Just get your elbow, jab to the body, get the right elbow in the way, or you could even put the left elbow in the way if you're sided up. And with the right hand to the body, your elbow's there anyway if you're sided up. So you're good.
So that's an advanced technique, but it's something that you can add to your arsenal that'll really help you.
So like I said, it's an advanced technique. It could be something, now you could make the argument, because I honestly haven't seen a lot of great counters off of this move, but what it can do is just kind of disrupt somebody. And again, if you're stepping out as you do it, then you are limiting what someone can do to exploit you on it, and you're kind of throwing them off balance and things like that. And on the inside, like I talked about with the James Toney video, you can have your hands down on the inside and use your shoulders, weave, whatever. Boxing is an art. But anyway, great stuff in general. Only a few things that I differ on with Kenny Weldon, who is a great coach that may he rest in peace. And, information like this on the internet is good. Too often there's stuff out there that makes zero sense in totality. In totality, this whole demonstration, he put a lot of videos out there, a lot of great stuff, world-class stuff, and a lot of stuff you can learn from it. Make sure you comment below what your thoughts are about what we talked about. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video, guys. Appreciate your support.